Hello everybody. My name is Girish Gogia, a civil engineer by qualification, an interior designer by profession, and an inspirational speaker by destiny. I'm sure the question has arisen in everybody's mind. How did I become an inspirational speaker after being an interior designer? So my dear friends, I would love to share how destiny changed for me and I became an inspirational speaker. I was a very happy-go-lucky man, a very successful man in my career of interior designing, traveling around the world. God gave me the opportunity of traveling more than 40 countries. I've traveled around the whole of Asia, the whole of Africa, started the business of importing timber into India, and everything was going absolutely wonderful. The year 2000, millennium was approaching, and we decided to go to Goa and celebrate the millennium. I was always a very confident sea swimmer. When I was in Goa ushering in the millennium, we were all having a lot of fun and frolic, enjoying ourselves, and I dived from a small little cliff into the ocean, which I always used to do. But on that particular day, I never knew that this particular dive of mine would leave me neck downwards completely paralyzed. I dived and I was instantly paralyzed due to a spinal cord injury. I could not swim back to the shore. None of my limbs were functioning. I was absolutely in a state of shock. I could not understand what was happening. I had completely drowned, and when I came back to my consciousness, I found myself on the shore of the beach, only to realize that somebody had saved me and got me to the shore. I was immediately rushed to the nearby hospital. The doctors came running. Doctors checked me and they declared I had met with a devastating spinal cord injury on the cervical level. They declared that I was neck downwards completely paralyzed. And it was as if lightning struck me. I did not know how to react. I was in a complete state of shock. I simply could not see any way out of this crisis. The doctors said that there was no cure for a spinal cord injury related paralysis anywhere around the world. And I was completely shattered. I did not know what to do. With a battered body and a wounded spirit, I was lying down on the bed of the hospital. Thousands of negative thoughts crossing my mind each minute. A successful man like me, a man who was always happy, a man who never believed in defeat. Words like impossible never existed in my dictionary. And here I was, lying down on the bed, absolutely could not move an inch on my own. The doctors said my bladder had given way. My bowels were not functioning. My hands were not functioning. My legs were not functioning. My respiratory system was just about 50%. My spinal column was not functioning. Absolutely nothing. I was lying down on the hospital bed like a vegetable. And I simply could not believe what had happened to me. I was completely dependent. I could not drink a glass of water on my own, could not eat on my own, could not clean myself up on my own, could not dress myself up on my own. I simply could not do anything on my own. A man like me who used to travel around the world doing everything possible. And all of a sudden, life had come to a standstill for me. Negativity had completely taken over my mind. It was controlling my mind, and I simply was lying helpless, crying and whining, crying and whining. I had made life miserable for myself as well as all my family members. One particular thought kept coming in my mind. Girish, you were always a very ambitious man. I always wanted to achieve a lot in life. What about those goals that I had set in my life? What about those aims that I had in my life? How could I say goodbye? How could I give up? I never believed in the word failure. And I always had heard one particular thing that my father kept telling me since childhood. My dear son, a successful captain is the one who gets the ship to the shore. He may have faced a lot of storms in the middle of the ocean, but people are not interested in listening to those stories, what the captain faces in the middle of the ocean. A successful man, a successful captain is the one who gets the ship to the shore. That thought kept coming into my mind, and I realized it was all about thinking positive. It was all about the never say die spirit. It was all about come what may, the show must go on. And I decided I'm not going to give up. I decided I'm still going to achieve all the goals that I had set in my life. It was all about the power of positive thinking. I decided I'm going to open an account and deposit all the positive thoughts in that account every minute. And I started doing that. Positive thinking is magic. When your thought process is positive, absolutely everything falls into the right place. I said to myself, why am I focusing on the parts of the body that do not function? Why not look at the brighter side of the coin? Why not rather focus on the parts of the body that were still working? I had a healthy heart which was still beating. My mind was functioning. My speech was intact. The vital organs of my body were still functioning. I decided I'm going to be concentrating on what I'm left with rather than crying and cribbing over the parts of the body which do not function. And I started off. I started taking projects once again, all the interior designing projects that I always wanted to do. And I finished almost 15 interior designing projects in the last 12 years of my paralysis. I'm still completely dependent for every small little thing. And positive thinking has really changed my life forever. I always thought to myself, what was the purpose of my second life? God definitely must be having a plan for me. There is something that God wants me to do. I kept thinking and thinking and finally realized God wanted me to share my real life experiences on the power of positive thinking with as many lives as I can. God has chosen me as a messenger to spread this positive thinking attitude all across the globe with every soul on this planet. And I started off with my mission. I turned myself into an inspirational speaker. I started traveling places like blind homes, old age homes, orphanages, clubs, corporates, so many places. People started inviting me. I started delivering inspirational speeches to people, sharing my thoughts on the power of positive thinking. And it's absolutely wonderful touching hearts. I thought now was the time for action. Now was the time to light up lives. So friends, my mantra is, winners see the gain and losers see the pain. This was the mantra that helped me turn the tide to my favor. It helped me fight against all kinds of adversities and trying times. Life is like a lamp, and positive thinking the oil. When the oil gets exhausted, the lamp goes off. In the deepest of dark nights, when all is obscure and declining, never allow the light of hope to extinguish. So always try and be positive in your life. Whatever the situation may be, however difficult the circumstances may be, is not as important as your attitude towards it. Friends, positive thinking works like magic. I promise you, keep a positive thought process and see the magic. After every dark night comes a bright morning with a lot of sunshine. So, be positive, remain positive.